Hi there, welcome to this devotion. Years ago, I led a service that this little church that met in a school had. And when we arrived to the school hall on the Sunday morning, the hall was set up for exams the teenagers were about to write. Um, Somehow the congregation had not been told about this change of plan. I didn't even know that private schools wrote trial exams on Sundays. Anyway, the teachers, they were very polite and very helpful, and they pointed us out to the library. And undeterred by what was happening, I sat up on the librarian's desk, and the congregation walked around, and each one went to find a chair and came and sat a little closer. After an opening prayer, I looked around me and realized we hadn't planned any songs without printed material or without instruments. So I asked, what song shall we sing? And one of the songs that came back and what we ended up singing was, What a Friend We Had in Jesus. So we sang it and everyone knew the words, and it was an experience that I'll never forget. But there was this one guy, and there's always one. He told me afterwards that singing What a Friend We Have in Jesus made him experience, or made him feel like he was experiencing Sunday school all over again, and he didn't enjoy it at all. And I said to him, well, I hope Jesus enjoyed us worshipping him. But it really stuck with me. And on Sunday, Ian told me that he had some material on the history of some of the songs or some of the hymns that we sing. And I got them, thank you. So I did a little more digging and found that the author of What a Friend We Have in Jesus is Joseph Skirin. He was born in the early 1800s in Northern Ireland. In his mid-20s, his fiancée, she tragically died in an accident the day before they were supposed to get married. She drowned. So with a broken heart, he emigrated to Port Hope in Canada, where he decided, and he ended up living in his life the way Jesus instructed, the way Jesus taught on the Sermon on the Mount. He intentionally went out to find ways to help the poor and serve the old and the needy, and he lived up to it, and that was his reputation. Well, when I read that, it seems that he did have a bit of spare time because he met Eliza, and they fell in love and got engaged to get married. And she died of pneumonia before they got married. I can't even imagine the heartache that this guy felt. I mean, Joseph, I've never experienced that sort of heartache that Joseph felt. It was during this time of pain, it was during this time of hurt, that he wrote the opening lines of this poem. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and grief to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. A few years later, this poem was put into this hymn that we know and love so well today. Sadly, I also associate the hymn with Sunday school, and yet that hymn was written from a place of deep pain and trying to remind everyone to pray. And I would like to remind you and me also that prayer is a privilege, that prayer is a time to share your and my broken heart with Jesus. I believe that Joseph Scriven was right. Hurting all alone is needless. If your heart is broken, pray about it. Go to your local church and pray there also, and then speak to the pastor. Being guilt-ridden and isolating yourself into this downward spiral is needless. Pray about it. Go to your local church and pray there also, then speak to the pastor. May these words of this song not only remind you of children, but may they inspire you to be healed, or may they inspire you to find a way to heal your broken heart. And may these words inspire you to find forgiveness in Jesus Christ. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and grief to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. I hope you have a lovely day. God bless.